Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play ChäoS Child. In the last episode, after what seemed like an eternity, Takuru was able to finally finish all of the afternoon preparations for the upcoming culture festival, and also the inevitable interview with Mr. Watabe over at Nico News. And surprisingly, Kurisu came over to check on his handiwork, in spite of her injury. And to Takuru's further surprise, she actually managed to get Kawahara to actually apologize for punching him in the face earlier. So I suppose that's now water under the bridge. But, yeah, given all that, there's no real time to go home, so pretty much the newspaper club is pretty much sleeping over in the club room after hours. Which brings us to another delusion trigger scenario. Go positive, negative, or reality. And this is probably going to be a bad idea given the circumstances, which is basically Serika tickling Kazuki of all people. But we're going to go for another positive delusion. This is probably going to end badly.
こら、逃げちゃダメ。
Then again, this is probably Kazuki's punishment for laughing at Serika earlier. Hey. Yeah, stop screwing around and sleep, girls. The girls like to touch each other so much. It's not like you guys are lovers. Stop it. Me and Ito are right next to you. It's a good thing this is your inner monologue and not actually saying this aloud. Don't forget that. Well, we've now reached the point of no return. Let's see how this delusion unfolds. What?
花ちゃんって胸大きいね。
Serika's delusionary comment aside, there is, yeah, this is new. This hasn't happened before. We've got patterns which look like, unless I'm absolutely crazy, they kind of resemble the synapses of the brain or patterns of the brain or something. But there is also this here. There is more. Don't know about this, but you know what? We're gonna run with it. Could this be a delusion within a delusion? Never really had that before.
花ちゃん、息荒いよ。
Yeah, I think this delusion is about to get even stranger. I should remind everyone that this is all taking place within the imagination of Takuru Miyashiro.
ね、キスしていい？しちゃうもんね。
Yeah, because there is no way that Serika would ever say this stuff in real life. I'm more interested in seeing what this more is all about.
興奮してるの？かわいい。
Yeah, just going to totally ignore that. Oop, additional delusion.
私も興奮してきちゃった。
I might have made a real mistake here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm actually scared. Although to be fair, I'm probably the only silver lining to this is that the negative delusion might actually be worse. By
ねえ花ちゃん、私のも触って。
yeah. Yeah, Takuru, I think your brain is broken. Something really bizarre is going on here with the delusion trigger system. Yeah, what exactly is happening with Takuru's brain right now?
気持ちいい。
Yeah, this,
そう。私の胸、ドキドキしてるの感じる？
yeah, this is, gone probably too far beyond the point of no return. Yeah, this is, I couldn't take it anymore and gulped loudly. Once again, Takuru, this is your delusion scenario. Kazuki and Serika suddenly stopped whispering. Oh no, they'd heard me. This is going to end absolutely terribly.
ねえ花ちゃん。
Absolutely terribly.
タクが私たちの声盗み聞きしてるよ。
I think it's safe to say you're doomed.
うん。
No, you're right next to me. I can't help it. I wanted to say that, but I couldn't speak. If I did, they know I was listening for sure. They already do, Takuru.
花ちゃん、提案なんだけど、タクも混ぜてあげよっか。
Yeah, this delusion is definitely broken. I think we broke Takuru, ladies and gentlemen.
どう？うん。
Yeah, you might want to pinch yourself and wake up.
オッケー。 ねえタク。
I don't think the usual methods for waking up from a dream will work. But then again, this is
こ
a
っちおい
delusion,
でよ。
not a dream
私
as
と花ちゃ
such.
んでタクの体たっぷりくすぐってあげる。
Yeah, still scared, still terrified. Okay, it's over. Yeah, crap. When I closed my eyes, my imagination started to get the better of me. Yeah, that delusion started to get way too real there. But what was that? It was their fault for saying that stuff next to me. was it? Oh well, they weren't really saying, they weren't actually saying any of that, and I misread that. I apologize. Just listening to them tickle each other was enough to excite a healthy young boy like me. I believe you're 18, but I digress. I really should stop saying that. I can't help it. I listened carefully for a moment and realized I could hear soft snoring. Well, good thing they fell asleep. Well, had they fallen asleep while my imagination was in overdrive? Yeah, need to talk about that overdrive thing. Damn it, they needed to consider my feelings too. I got so excited that I wouldn't be able to get to sleep for a while. And how was Ito doing, by the way? I needed to think of a way to kill some time. Speaking of Sunji, suddenly Ito started to fidget. He was awake? Did he know what I was thinking about? That would be incredibly disturbing if he did. I got nervous for a second, but then he ignored me and took out his phone to check the time.
どうした?忘れてた。そろそろ0時だぞ。
Witching hour, it seems.
Huh?
So the day hasn't quite changed yet. What was that about? Ito stood up and started to fiddle with the club's PC.
はい、2015年10月10日0時になりました。皆様、ようこそいらっしゃいませ。K さんと申します。
Yes, indeed. K of Shibuya News, also known as Mio Kunosato. I heard a familiar voice, but also the Culture Festival and Watabe's interview aren't the only things that are going to be happening on the 10th, which it is now.
今日の夜は少し冷え込んでいますね。着実に秋が到来しているようです。いかがお過ごしでしょうか?
Indeed, and something tells me that the day is going to get even colder.
さて、本日放送の機会を設けさせていただいたのは、聞いてくださっている皆様ならもうご存知ですね。
Yes, indeed we do.
本日
Only too well.
10月10日は6年前にヴァンパイアと呼ばれた事件が起きた日付です。
Yeah, the fourth New Gen incident. Which we've already speculated. She was right. I'd totally forgotten, due to pretty much everything that was going on during yesterday. Today was October 10th. Somewhere in Shibuya, probably in the next 24 hours, someone would... Probably before morning. No, I just thought about this, right? I could live the same life as everyone else. Yeah, Kurisu did try to get us to promise. Well, try to make Takuru promise to drop the case and try and live a normal, ordinary life. But something tells me that the new generation madness isn't going to let him off the hook that easily. So I could just forget about the case.
電話?んだよ、こんなと。
Getting a bad feeling here. Ito froze as he looked at the phone.
しんちゃん?これまでの経緯をもう一度簡単に。
Okay, so Kay's still doing her broadcast. Kay's voice suddenly vanished. Wait, what? Oh, Ito had muted it. His hands were shaking a little. Does that phone have caller ID?
おい、
Or is it going to be registered as an unknown number?
やべえ。なんだ、これ。
Spit it out, man.
何かだよ。
電話。お前からだ。
Ah. Well, one of the worst case scenarios has played itself out. Looks like those two individuals have managed to crack your phone, Takuru.
は？
Oh dear. It took me a minute to understand what he was saying. Probably a bit late to say that Takuru doesn't necessarily have his phone on him right now. Looks like you're not going to be dropping the case that easily. Then he showed me the screen.
だから、これ見ろ。
Oh, it's not a ghost trick. It's no sleight of hand. The screen read Takuru Miyashiro. Oh dear. Yep. Gonna have to explain this. After
Nandayo.
all.
これ。
Should already know what's happening, Takuru. My phone was locked. Well, not anymore, it seems. No, mate, wait. I called the company and had them shut off the account. Well then.
どうするんだよ、これ。なあ。
Looks like that didn't work, it seems. That's bad. Very bad. I didn't know what to do. Should I ignore it? Unfortunately, we can't do that either. I promised Kurusu that I'd give up the case. No, wait. Was now really the time for that? My mind raced, but I couldn't come up with an answer. The next thing I knew, I grabbed the phone from Ito and answered it. Well, too late for regrets now. There was silence. As everyone held their breath and watched me, I put my ear up to the phone and heard. Nothing. All I could hear was the sound of my own heartbeat. What is going on here? At some point my breathing had become shallow and pained. I leaned against the nearby desk just to give myself some means of support. The person on the other end of the phone said nothing. What do I do? What do I do? Try to calm down would be the first thing. Damn it. What the hell was going on? Say something. Say something, you idiot.
お前。誰だ？
Who indeed? My voice was shaking so much it was pathetic. Everyone was perfectly still as they watched, the edge of their seats. It was no good. I couldn't hear anything. Oh no. That's not a good sound. We've heard that sound before. Oh god. And they hung up. But that sound. That all too familiar sound.
おい、どうした？
I think Takuru's panicking right now. I dropped the phone and fell to my knees. Sariko had come over toward me. I grabbed her and held her tight. I was so scared. So scared. Yeah, the ominous knocking. The knocking sound I'd heard when I was at the hotel. Which was actually captured on film. I frantically rubbed the ear that I'd been holding up to the phone. But it wouldn't stop. It wouldn't go away. He's still hearing it. That sound. My chest was filled with foreboding. I'd snuck into that hospital when they'd stolen my phone. Well, you dropped it, but didn't that count as something really bad? Most certainly. There's nothing we can do about it now, except wait for things to play themselves out.
9時半になりました。皆さん、よろしいでしょうか。それではこれより。
And it seems as though Kawahara is going to be emceeing this entire culture festival. Also, it's morning, so...
第3回私立壁氷学園文化祭を開催いたします。
All the students in the gym roared as soon as Kawahara finished. Cheerful music began to fill the room, and students in costumes, who probably belonged to some club or another, began to dance. Half the students watched them and laughed as they left the gym. Well, the culture festival has begun. They are probably the students in charge of the classroom displays and stalls in the courtyard. Well, let's get this over with. Kazuki looked over at me to see if I was okay.
うん。まあ、大丈夫。
Takuru seems to have recovered for the moment. Even if it was, or maybe not. Even if it was a lie, it was all I could bring myself to say. I couldn't smile. Because of her talents, Kazuki was asked to handle the audio system along with me for the student council's opening ceremony. The rest of the student council, except for Kawahara, obviously, as well as Sariko and Ito, should have left during the ceremony to patrol the school. It was only going to get busier when the school opened to the public at 10 AM, which was about 30 minutes from now. When that happened, people from outside the school would be allowed in, and many different events would be held, including the newspaper club Nikoniya interview. I had to do my job too. But I couldn't bring myself to get out of the chair. Yeah, it's all converging on this day yet again. Huh? Maybe Kazuki is trying to give some moral support. Kazuki offered me a lollipop. A green one this time, and this time also not the one that she had in her mouth.
あ、いや。
Yeah, she's clearly worried about Takuru. She thought for a moment, then took out a piece of dried squid from who knows where. Also, I noticed that she had a piece of that in her mouth as well, and said lollipop. Here it is.
いや、そうじゃなくて。わかった。もらうよ。
Yes, we shall accept your conciliatory gift. I grabbed the lollipop and stood up. Kazuki stayed to handle the audio. She might have problems communicating, but there were other members of the student council and she'd probably be fine.
ありがとな。
自主映画特別棟2階視聴覚室でやってます。100円です。パンフレットタダで配布してます。
Normally a student film might be fun, but not
9時
today.
半から屋上のテニスコートでコメディテニスします。熱くなれよ。
And they're announcing all the other different events at the festival. I ignored the advertisements and headed to my destination. After that, Ito had picked up the smartphone and called the number back. Something tells me that not going to get a return reply. But no one had picked up. No surprises there. There was only the message that played when you start off your service. The customer has requested that this number be temporarily disabled. Yeah, I know that trick. We talked for a while, but none of us had any good ideas. By 3 a.m. we'd settled on participating in the culture festival like normal, and then lay down on our desks to get some sleep. But I couldn't sleep. I was too nervous. In the end, I didn't get a wink of sleep, and was only half awake for the opening ceremony and final check of the class's video. It's gonna make it even worse, going through this day with insomnia, and though it's gonna get even worse. In the morning I passed Arumura in the hallway. She had the smile on her face that she wore when she was with her friends. That only made me more nervous, and I was still nervous right now. Yeah, lowering our guard at this point would be a bad idea. I didn't even yawn once. Too tired to yawn. Definitely a bad sign. I could see Sarika patrolling the stalls near the gate through the open doors of the school. Come to think of it, she said she hadn't slept well either. That's because you were too busy tickling Kazuki there. If someone with her appetite was ignoring all the tasty treats for sale at the food stalls, she must have been telling the truth.
だよな。
Sarika had made contact with them at the hospital too. Yeah. How were they able to call when I'd shut off my phone? No, I should stop thinking about it. I'd asked myself all these questions already. Why'd they called Ito? How were they able to? Was there a reason they called right after the start of the day of the new generation madness? Should I go to the police? Probably not. Would they believe me again? And I hadn't come up with answers to any of those questions. I could hear loud murmurs in the distance.
おい、裏門の方、渡部来てるらしいぜ。
Oh, happy joy.
マジかよ、行ってみようぜ。
That was sarcasm, by the way, if you couldn't tell. He was early. The meeting was supposed to be at 1 a.m. Oh, p.m., sorry, what am I talking about? Oh, wait. He was going to do an article on the culture festival itself, right?
タク、行かないの？
Don't really want to. But I guess want doesn't come into it. At some point, Sarah walked up behind me. Was she on patrol? She was
どう
supposed
せ
to
後
be.
で会うんだし、別にいいよ。
Why are you angry about that? And suddenly she got very close to me.
元気が足りないな。もしかしてまだ昨日のあれ気にしてる？
That and so many other things.
そりゃそうだろ。
Of course, meeting Watabe isn't enough to get anyone, well, shouldn't be enough to get anyone energetic, but for some reason the students seem to like him, so... But then, they don't know his true persona. I'd be crazy not to be thinking about it.
というか、お前だってさっきまで暗い顔してたじゃないか。
He has a point there, Serica. When I'd seen her just a second ago, she looked really glum, but for some reason she looked better now. She looked surprised that I'd seen her, and then...
それはそうだけど、でもさ、だったら何かが起きる前に私たちが解決すればいいじゃんって。
Solve the case before something happens. Think that's pretty much been thrown out the window at this point. Also, that violates Kurusu's
5
promise.
人で仲良く真実を追求し解決するのが新聞部のモットーでしょ？
Think Kurusu would disagree with you there. I'd never heard that motto before, anyway.
タクならできるって。
Serica does seem to be genuinely better. After giving me a completely baseless motivational speech, she went back to her patrol.
タクならできるってか。
Do what exactly?
タクル、もう事件なんか追わないって約束して帰ってきなさい。手伝ってほしいことたくさんあるの。
Yeah. Once again, Takuru didn't actually agree to Kurusu's promise. For now, I needed to get through this interview. First there was the video to talk about, and then the Sumo Sticker with the different face. It'd be great if I could ask Watabe what that meant too. But is Takuru going to interview Watabe, or is Watabe going to reverse interview him? I took a deep breath and started to go over the interview in my head. Probably need a mountain view there to clear your throat.
来ないね。
Lady
渡
hasn't
部
shown
さ
up.
ん、どうしちゃったのかな。
He was here earlier, wasn't he?
ん。
And again, he must be circling around the different events. It was already 1:15 p.m. He did show up. At least, I don't know. The interview was supposed to start at 1 p.m. Everyone had heard that Watabe, the famous journalist, was going to be here. The audience's seats in the gym were packed. There were even people standing. Everyone in the newspaper club except Kurisu had arrived, and we were waiting below the stage. All the preparations were complete. But there was still no sign of Watabe himself. He is quite fashionably late, it seems.
控え室にはいたんだろ。
ああ、1時間くらい前かな。挨拶してきた。
Yeah, he could just be loitering around
何や
somewhere.
ってんだ。緊張してトイレか。
それは僕だ。
は？
Don't think you were supposed to answer that question there.
ここだけの話、さっきからトイレばっかり行ってる。やっぱり僕には無理だ。こんな大勢の前で対談なんて。
Yeah, looks like Takuru's nerves are getting the better of him.
今さらなんだよお前。
Yeah, far too late. Sure, but I couldn't help but be nervous. I wasn't any good at dealing with crowds or people I didn't know. Now I was going to have to deal with both. Take the hint.
よし、伊藤、部長の座を譲る。お前が仕切ってくれ。
アホか。
Got shot down. Ito had laughed away an offer that I'd made in all seriousness. He stood up from his chair.
それにしても遅えな。みんな待ちくたびれてるじゃん。生徒会は何してんだ？
That is a good question. Watabe was supposed to be getting the VIP treatment, and it was the student council's job to take care of him. But with Kurisu gone, they were probably having a hard time keeping up with all their work. From what I'd heard, without Kurisu there to keep the peace, fights and arguments were breaking out everywhere. That only went to show how much everyone relied on her. You'd think that Kawahara would be taking a page or
仕
two
方
from her
ね
book.
えな。ちょっと呼んできてやるか。
Yeah, you do that.
しんちゃん、待って。私も行くよ。
And Serica is following in tow.
あ、おい。
Don't leave me and Kazuki here alone. Neither of us are capable of talking to anyone. What if Watabe came while they were gone? What would they do? What would we do then? That would be a dick move if he did. That sucks. Serica and Ito went off to the waiting room without us. This was a problem.
あれれ、まだ始まってないんすね。
And the problem just keeps getting bigger.
先輩、チャオス。
Oh, it was just Arimura. Come to think of it, she asked me to ask Watabe about that picture. Yeah, that was her suggestion.
ずいぶん遅いですね。
はい。今迎えに行ってるけど。
If they can find him.
そうだ、有村さん、聞こうと思ってたんですけど。
Yeah, and none of your usual spiely answers this time.
なんすか？
Guess my luck is out on that one.
画像のことについて渡部さんを追求してほしいんですよね。その画像ってラブホテルの力士シールのことでしょ。それには僕たちも興味を持ってるんですけど、有村さんはどこまで知ってるんですか？あれのこと。
Definitely should have asked that question yesterday, but I guess now it's a better time than ever. And lo and behold, Arumura's expression has shifted, and her non-response is actually more telling than her words. Or so it seemed. Arumura looked serious for just a moment, but then she grinned.
情報量は高くつくぜ、あんちゃんよ。
Almost. We were so close to breaking this facade.
お金取るんですか？
God
当
damn
た
it.
り前よ。キャッシュで5000万スイス銀行に振り込んでくんな。くっくっく。
What are you, hoeing Kiyoma all of a sudden?
小学生みたいなこと言ってないで本気で教えてください。
むか。
Yeah, the time has come to get serious, and
渡部さんにはうまく質問しますから。だから僕らにも情報を。
ねえ先輩。
Really? You're calling
Hi.
the boss of all things?
何度も言ってますけど、私に敬語はいりませんよ。改めてくれるまでずっと言い続けますからね。
I think we have every reason to be self-conscious around you.
はい。
She changed the subject. Arimoto was incredibly interested in Watabe's picture with the Sumo Sticker. Did she think that if I questioned him about it, she might gain some valuable information? Probably. I considered this as I watched her twin tails bounce in the air. And then, suddenly, the curtain on the stage began to rise. I could start to see the bottom of the lectern and the chairs. I wonder if Watabe is, going to make a surprise appearance.
ねえ、始まっちゃいますよ。伊藤先輩たちは？
Yeah, that is a good question. There was no message from the student council, and we had no idea what to do as we watched the curtain rise.
やっとかよおい。
遅えよ渡部。
渡部さん。
I think Watabe might have pulled the wool over our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. As the curtain rose, the gym was filled with the cheers and boos of the students.
人、おのえ、何してんだよ。早く戻ってこいって。
Yeah. What is going on here?
あれ？
Suddenly, Arimoto spoke.
どうしたの？
見てください。なんか変です。
Getting that chill down my spine there. She pointed to the stage. I looked up towards it.
Huh?
Watabe had come up the stairs backstage and was walking toward the podium. And he looks completely disheveled. He was staggering and struggling to stay up, and he looked like he was in pain. There was thick sweat on his forehead, and something that looked like drool was dripping down his lips. But what was even stranger was his stomach. How to describe it? The spot between his ribs and his hips, right where his stomach and intestines would be, was all swollen up. Oh dear. You heard the word beer belly a lot, but it was worse than that. It was as if someone had stuck a giant rubber ball under his shirt. Something tells me, however, Takuru, that that is no beer belly nor giant rubber ball. Not if the new generation madness is involved. And I think, with that mental connection, I think we might have a fourth victim. If it, even without the ominous foreshadowing between Amy and Ed Lucas. The students saw this and started to whisper. Their voices grew louder and louder. In all seriousness, Tomoaki Watabe, you were a jerk. A selfish jerk pretending to be a noble journalist. But even you didn't deserve this. Your reputation in tatters, most certainly, before the eyes of your adoring fans, but even you, of all people, didn't deserve this. Not like this. His moans grew louder as he reached the center of the stage. Just listening to them was enough to make you go crazy.
何ですかあれ。何なんですか。
わからない。
No, but it does look familiar, doesn't it, Takuru? Almost like the second case of the original New Generation madness? Yeah. The whole gym, including the three of us, started to get louder. I think someone should, get the school physicians and help him instead of panicking. But panic they are. Nobody's actually going to try and help him, get him to the nurse, get him to the hospital. Of course not. The students' screams echoed in my ears. Some people were trampled in the mad dash for the exits. But as everyone else was panicking, Arimura and I stood there in silent shock. Kazuki's here as well.
あれは
Indeed.
そんな。
Yeah, it's happened again. Something was pouring out of Watabe's mouth, mixed with his blood and stomach fluids. It had a face. Of course, it wasn't Watabe's face. It was something we'd seen many times before. Yes, indeed. What was it? We already know the answer to that question. I knew it well, but it took me a few seconds to understand. And then... Oh god.
力士シール
That looks like a carpet with the sumo stickers on it. Yeah, that's Arimura began to scream, her voice joining the cacophony created by the other screaming students. Yeah, this is beyond grotesque. As I said before, you were a jerk, but even you didn't deserve this fate. The only question is that somebody could actually do something to actually help keep him alive. But anyway, it is still October 10th, 2015, Saturday. And that is where this episode of Let's Play Chaos Child is going to end, ladies and gentlemen. And when we return, oh dear, we're just going to have to take this one step at a time. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.